All right, I want to talk about this huge drop down in the market today while I was trading NVDVA. And here's the actual day candle right here, this big red candle. Everything was bullish, as you can see, in the last while. Things have been bullish on this. And it was bullish right here in the short term, too. And today, before it turned red and crashed, it was a very green day. It was sideways green. It was green enough until this happened right here, and it dropped like crazy. This is the 5-minute chart. Okay, I use the 5-minute chart to tell me which direction to be in, either bullish or bearish. And everything was bullish on the 5-minute chart, and the 15-minute and the hourly chart. Everything's going up. Moving averages are in the right direction. Everything's above each other. Well, you could see yesterday on the 15-minute chart right here how come I was bearish a little bit was because price had dropped below the 8 and the 20 and below the 50. The 50 was still going up though, the 50 and the so it didn't work out. It ended up reversing and going up. And there was a place right here where I could have recognized a reversal and go long on it. Well, it continued to go bearish, mainly sideways bearish, but green nonetheless. We were profitable by scalping up and down in this choppy area, and then all of a sudden it decided to go this way. This is the 15-minute chart. I'm not going to wait for price to close below the... actually, what's interesting about this is that there was a sign right here where you can see a little bit on the 15-minute chart how the 50 moving average is ticking down a little bit. So that should have been something that I paid attention to. You can't really get anything bearish over here on the hourly chart until the candle that just collapses. It's too late. You got to catch it on the 2-minute and the 5-minute chart way before you're trying to make a decision on the hourly chart. But you really can't see much happening here either. Well, right here in this circle, price actually finally closes below the 8 and the 20. You're not going to wait for the 8 to cross the 20 on the 15. You're not going to wait for the 8 and 20 to drop below the 50 on the 15. This is too big of a time chart for you to scalp and day trade. It is a sign, however, when price closes below the 8 and 20 and the 50 is heading down, that, hey, this might be starting to head bearish. And of course, on the 5-minute chart, you can actually see this a whole lot better. All right, right over here, the 8, the 20 are all under the 50, and prices below the 8, 20, and 50. And you can see the 8 and the 20 crossed over under the 50. Right here, I had a chance to actually buy and go long. Price dropped below the 8 and the 20, and this is the 2-minute chart. No, this is the 5-minute chart. Let me back up a little bit, because, like I said, I use the 5-minute chart to give me the direction. Right here, when price dropped below the 8 and the 20, it did here too, but the 8 and the 20 did not drop below the 50, and the 50 was still going up. To agree with the 15-minute chart, things were still right here. When this big drop happened where I bought, it just basically bounced off the moving averages, and the moving averages were still trending up. And I didn't mind that. It didn't close below the 20 like it did here. So right here when it was slamming down, I mean, I guess this candle could have been the candle that was, dropping down, but I would have recognized more of something happening right here as soon as you eventually would have saw the 8 and the 20 crossing below the 50, and that's what happened. And eventually, when it was time for it to go down, you will see the 8 and 20 cross below the 50. The 8 and 20 have to be below the 50. I wasn't worried about it because the 8 and 20 didn't cross below the 50, and on the 15-minute chart, we still look like we had a bullish pattern right here. And what happened was on the 2-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 2-minute chart here. Again, let me just say that on the 2-minute chart, you don't change directions based on the 2-minute only. When price drops below the 8 and the 20 moving average, a lot of times that is the place to buy, not go short. Okay? When the higher time charts are all agreeing that something's bullish, and the 2-minute chart drops down and starts looking low, especially if the 50's going up. If the 50's going up and price drops below the 8 and the 20, that's your ideal place to buy. Okay? And so that's what we did all day right here. All day. On this giant drop right here, that's what I did. And I bought and I sold when it got higher. That was profitable all day. You do need to pay more attention, however, when price drops below the 8 and the 20. If the 8 and the 20 are below the 50. That didn't happen over here. The 8 and the 20 were never below the 50. They dropped here a little bit. That's why I got these circles. These are areas where, everything's below the 3 moving averages. But what I do when that happens is I just look at the 5-minute chart, and I look at the 15-minute chart, and I go, should I be worried or should I be buying? Here's the 5-minute chart. And when those were happening, when those things were dropping below, when price was dropping below over there on the 2-minute chart, I was noticing that we're 50 still going up here. The 8 and the 20 did not cross yet. Okay. Now, there was a little bit of a scare right here when the 8 and the 20 crossed and price dropped below all 3 moving averages. But the 50 was still going up. And I bought on the extension down into the 200 moving average, and it just keeping my eye on it, but it just slowly drifted up and everything was fine. I was looking at the 15-minute chart too when that happened, and it just basically bounced off the 20 moving average and the 50. But the big sign that needs to be paid attention to is that on the 15, the 50 moving average is going down, even though the 20 is going up. And that is a sign that cannot be missed. 50 moving average is headed down. I made a note, pointed right to it right here. And sure enough, that needs to be paid attention to. So looking at the higher time charts, I didn't let the 2-minute bother me too much. Even right here, I was like, everything still looks good on the 5 and 15. And so we made profit all the way up. Suddenly, though, on the 5, because the 5-minute chart is where I like to make my direction decisions, we get a crossover. And what I mean by crossover is not just the 8 crossing the 20, and not just price crossing the 8 and 20 under, but the price crossing under the 8 and 20, the 8 crossing the 20, and all 3 of them, the price, the 8 and the 20, are dropping below the 50, and the 50 is ticking down. You can see from here to here, in this little box area where all these circles are at, is where all 3 moving averages are starting to tick down. That's your danger zone. Danger zone. Now that was the 5-minute chart, and that's what I'm watching to change direction. So what happened on the 2-minute chart is you got plenty of time to figure this out. Okay, on the 2-minute chart, there was a moment here, when I tried to bounce again, and I could have. The important thing is it dropped below the 200 moving average, which was a danger. I thought it was going to keep going right here, and I'd have to figure out how to break even and get out. And what happened here was it went over the top, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll go back up then. And I put my price target up here, and what I could have done is got out right here when it hit the 20 moving average. It hit the 20 moving average. All the moving averages are going down. Don't forget, on the 5-minute chart, we have confirmation. You see, if I was just using this, that's not enough. On the 5-minute chart, we had confirmation that this is continuing to go down. Okay? So that was something. I dropped the ball on that. Now, even so, I had a chance to break even right here on this little dip right here, or was it right here? Right here, I had a chance to close and break even right here on this, right here. I had a chance to break even right here, close my position, and even start to short this thing, which I would have had plenty of chances to short this thing, especially since I was profitable and broke even on the long side, and having it flip on me like that and get out at the right moment before things got nasty. I had a chance to do it. I saw in fact, I got out of some of my position at break even, and I held some. That was the wrong thing to do, was to hold any of it when the 2-minute and the 5-minute are both pointing down. And when the 2-minute and the 5-minute are both pointing down, then you should not be trying to go long. Okay? Like I said, if the 2-minute is doing something bearish, look at the 5 and 15, make sure it's still bullish. and usually that's a time to buy. But if you got the 5 and the 2 going bearish, you don't want to hold anything to go long. So I could have definitely broke even here. I was getting too greedy on this profit target here. It never made it to the profit target that I wanted up here. And I could have profited even more because I had bought down here and it went up. I just was shooting for up here. And I could have sold right here even and not held as it dropped. But even so, this was a mistake to hold. I could have still broke even right here. So there's one mistake after the next. Not breaking even right here was the biggest mistake of the day, because then I was not able to switch positions and go long, short, because I was still holding a long position. This has got to be dealt with immediately, right now. No more doing that. And I hope this video helps me to understand and figure that out and continue to, in real time, act upon these rules, because this is perfect trading. These rules are perfect and they look good and they work. When I say perfect, there's the signals to get out are right here on my face. There's no perfect system, but when the rules are followed, like seeing a turn, using multiple time charts together, and the problem is not the system. The problem is acting on it and pulling the trigger and making the right decision when it needs to be made. All right, so I hope I get that through my head, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.